Alright, so I was working on some sort of firewall here. I cut part of the hood off. And I was gonna weld that on there, kind of like that. Sorry it's on the ground, guys. And weld that up, and it was gonna cover the fuel tank and whatnot. But you guys have spoken. This is Rich and Mr. or Mrs. Outdoor Hub. You guys have spoken. I was not going to cut the console, but I'm gonna take your guys' suggestion, and I'm gonna cut the console down a little bit. The main reason why I didn't want to cut it was the reach on the steering wheel. But if I gotta move the seat, I gotta move the seat. You guys have spoken, so what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna tear this thing off, and we're gonna lower it. That's that. All right, so I gotta start tearing it apart. We'll get it off. My biggest concern was shortening this rod that controls the clutch. But what I think I'm gonna do, because it's threaded down on the bottom, I've been thinking about this all night. Take that off, and I'm gonna re-thread it. I'm gonna try it, instead of cutting it and welding it, I'm gonna try to thread it a little, however much I cut out of it. And I was a little bit concerned about cutting the steering rod, and because welding that back together to get it straight without making it wobble. But you guys have spoken. We'll figure it out. All right, let's get this console off. All right, so it's a nice day outside. We're gonna do it right here out on the walkway. Alright, got the console off. I haven't really took a good look at, this is my biggest fear, this thing here. It's kind of like wanky. So, I gotta see if I can tighten that up somehow. I gotta look underneath, maybe there's a nut or bolt. I'm hoping that slides off the shaft. That would make life a whole lot easier, right? Alright, so anyways, let's get this, I'm gonna have to get the I'm gonna jack it up, look underneath there, see what's holding this, because this is a little wonky. But as far as the console, I measured to about where this was, and that's probably the height I'm gonna go with the console. So it's probably like 2.5, 3 inches, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it's gonna make a big difference. Like I did before on the grill. I don't know how well you guys can see this. Let me... Alright. I'm going to cut because I want to save the mounting points. I'm going to come up here higher and take it out. The important part is getting it straight because I have to weld it back together. I'll at least tack it strong enough there to hold, and then do body work on the rest. But yeah, so I'll take it out of there and weld it back together. Like I said, the main thing is I gotta get a straight cut on both cuts, so it lines up good. All right, I want to take a look at this shaft. I'll get back to you and let you know what's going on with that. All right, so a little bit of difficulty, and I'm kind of glad that we're doing this. See how wonky this is? It's like a Phillips head screw head bolt, whatever it's a bolt with a Phillips head on it. That screws through the body, and that's kind of what's holding it in. But I don't know if someone tried to tighten it up or not before, even if that's the right bolt, being a Phillips head, but it's sloppy. I'm having a hard time backing the screw off. So we're gonna work at it. We're gonna put some vice grips on it. There's not a lot of clearance, and the angle at it. I even put a big Phillips head, Torx one on here. The impact one, and it just spins around in there. So I'm going to try to get it off with vice grips. Well, good news and bad news. Well, actual real bad news. I was backing it up to get it closer to the garage to heat it up with my torches, and I pulled it through. As you can see, there's a square nut there that fits in that hole, but that's the screw I'm talking about that I gotta get out. Alright, we'll figure it out. Thanks, guys. Thanks, guys. It's alright. Alright, probably do this off camera. Some kind of pain in the butt. I could put in the vise and everything over there and see what's going on. I lost part of the washer. That tab is part of the... Oh, that was a big... That looks like an aluminum washer. Alright, we'll figure it out. Okay, let me show you how it works. First of all, I got the screw out. As you can see, it's a little screw. I'm going to put a bolt probably. But it had this aluminum. I think this was like a compression washer maybe. Like a lock washer that switches on. This thing just... It's octagon. See it? And I'm not 100% sure if it's brass, if I can even weld it in there. I'm going to check that in a second. With that, went like that, and the shaft fit in there. So I'm going to put a magnet on this. Maybe I can weld this, tack it down to the deck, and go from there. Oh yeah. We're good. So what I'll do is I'll clean this up. I'm going to tack it down to the deck. I don't know if that's a good idea or a bad idea. Definitely got to figure out the washer setup. And I don't see how this gear, I don't see any pins in this gear where I can pull it off. I'm not going to mess with it. It's pretty worn out. As you can see, there's ridges there. That was probably from flopping around in there. I don't know. I can't answer that. But we're going to go with it. Not much I can do about it. I do not want to buy one. It's not worth to buy a whole new shaft. So we're going to have to cut this. Like I said, whatever we cut, the cowl, same thing. We're going to take that much out of it. Alright, so I was just backing it over here. I couldn't get a good grip on it. It felt real tight. This thing kind of stripped out this washer. I mean this screw. I said let me heat it up, just put a little bit of heat on it, maybe I can break it free. And as I was backing it up without the console, I pulled it through. But we'll fix it, not a big deal. Alright, so getting ready to cut the console. Now it's hard for you guys to see this, but these things they're curved. These whatever you want to call them, this grill looking thing. I know the word for it, but I can't come out with it. Which makes it a little bit more tricky to cut, because I got to come up and cut with the curve and keep it straight. So what I'm thinking is split in the middle. They are, I don't know, if I go split them, it gives me like 2 1/4 inch drop. And that'll give me enough of a room to weld it together to hide it. So I guess I'm going to cut it in the middle here. And cut it in the middle here or here. I haven't decided yet. Alright, yeah, it's going to be this one in the middle and this one in the middle. We'll take that section out. We'll put it together. Hopefully I can get it back together where it was halfway decent. So that's roughly going to give me, like I said, like a 2 1/4 inch drop. I'm going to stop with that. I don't want to go too much and end up the steering wheel looking too far down. I might have to rearrange the seat with this too, but we'll work around it. You guys both agree that gotta lower the console. So I'm gonna cut this. The throttle cable shouldn't be a problem. The shifter, I'm just gonna try to rethread that all the way up. I don't know how good that's gonna work out, but yeah, I'm gonna try to rethread that. Steering rod's gonna be a little bit more tricky, but I have a plan for that. And I don't know where it is right now. Alright, so here's the steering rod. I don't know if this is gonna work out or not, But whatever I take out of here and I put it back together, I might thread this also. And they make a nut coupling. I can't think of the word. But maybe if I thread this and thread the other side and put that coupling nut on here, instead of trying to weld this, you know, it's kind of pretty important to be strong. Well, that's what my thought is on this. I'd say leave a comment or a suggestion, but I'll probably have it done by the time I get to this next video. But that's my thought in the long run, subject to change like everything else. Alright, so we cut and conquer. Cut and conquer is the word of the day. Alright guys, I'm going to test you on that. Cut and conquer. Alright, I'm going to measure this out and take my time, see if I get it right. Alright, so what I did, took a measurement, I stuck this on here, and I scribed a line. Now I'm going to put a piece of tape across that, just to get me around this angle, then we'll shoot for that way, and down the sides. Alright, I just recorded this whole thing, and I didn't have it on. I didn't have the record button on the GoPro. Alright, let me clean the lens. The lens looks filthy. Alright, so, I got it. I think I got it as straight as I can get it. It's probably not perfect, but, and it don't look like a lot, but I'm kind of limited. If I go 3 slots, it's going to be way too much. But it's close. It's like 2 3/4, 2 7/8 right in that area. Maybe a little less than 2 3/4. I don't know. But I'm cutting it with the wheel of death right here. And unfortunately, I don't have any 4.5-inch discs, so I'm going to use a 7-inch one on the little grinder. But I'll have my face shield on, and I'm going to put my gloves on, because if that thing comes apart, it'll go right through you. Alright guys, wish me luck. Here we go. Alright, not too bad. It fits pretty good. I get off a little bit over here. I don't know if I can fill that. Well, I'll work that out. Even if I gotta put a piece behind there or whatever. So I started tacking it in. And basically I'm just tack as much as I can on this. Grind it up, and we're gonna have a little bit of body work on the front, possibly. But you can see, as you tack it, and you get good penetration, it's making a good bond there. But let's take a look over here. It's kind of hard to see, but give you a general idea. So it lowered it quite a bit, as you can see. So I got that welded up pretty good, ground it down. So now I'm just going to put some body film on it, let it dry, and we'll work on the steering rod. Alright, so here's the steering shaft. Okay, I know this is the amount that I took out of it with the dial caliper, so I'm going to take that out of the center. I'll measure, I'll take that much out of the center, and I got this bushing that I should be able to slide on. I don't know how well you can see that, and weld it all around. The battery's about to die, so I hope you got a good look at that. That's what the intention is. Take a piece out of that shaft and weld that collar around it. That should be good and sturdy. What do you think? Alright, so I cut that part out of the shaft. I put that collar on and welded it up. Alright, well that's cooling. Now for the shifter thingy-majiggy here, I gotta do the same thing. So I'm gonna use this coupling. Alright, I'm going to weld that up while that's cooling. I'm going to go back over and take a look at the firewall on the little beast over there. Okay, so I got the console back on. It's hard to see with it up in the air because I got it on the lift right now. Lift, get it? Ha ha ha. Alright, let me explain. Remember when I was pushing this thing back to take the steering rod out? It pulled out on me. Well, let me show you how I'm going to fix it. Okay, bear with me for a minute. I already checked the shaft's the right length, by the way. Okay. Let me do this from behind the camera. Okay. So in here, it's threaded. Oh, I'm missing a piece. Okay, this bushing, see how it's kind of like that? Sits on here like this. Can you see that? Alright, this goes through the hole in the floor. So, there was a washer with a Phillips head screw, and it was like a tension washer, I guess the best way of explaining it. Well, I broke that when I took it off. It was aluminum. The compression washer, whatever you want, I know what you call it, tension washer. It's the best way I can explain it. Only way I could fix it is when this comes through the floor, on the bottom, I'm going to have this on there, a fender washer, like this. This way it'll be pushing on that other nut, that nut that I found, that big nut, be pushing that against the floor, and I believe that's going to work. The only thing I don't know is if I tighten it down too hard, is it going to be able to stay? But we're going to find that out right now. Alright, I'm not going to film me putting this underneath there because there's going to be a whole lot of cursing going on. Bear with me. I'll be back in a second. Alright, so it has appeared to work. I did tighten it down pretty good. I should probably put some Loctite on it. In the bushing I used some anti-seize instead of grease. But right now I'm going to tighten down this collar, because that collar pretty much holds it in place straight, I think. Anyway, alright, now I don't have the steering wheel pushed all the way down because, believe it or not, when we get this thing all together, Papa Kenny's going to tear it all apart to paint it. So you know what I'm saying? But that's okay. Alright, so we know the steering will work. See? That's gonna work out fine. Tire's a little bit flat, it's hard to steer, but hey, what are you gonna do? Alright, so I'm gonna put the rest of this together. I did shorten this other shaft for this here. Oh, I want to show you one other thing. While you guys were at work today, because I'm retired and I get to do this stuff, let me show you what I made. Alright. Don't mind the body work. I can tell you that right off the bat. Alright, so I had to do something with this. I didn't like it. So I made this. I'm just not sure. I cut a section off the hood is what it is. Okay? So kind of fits like that. Alright, so how's that look? Kind of gives me a firewall. I'm going to scoot you guys up a little bit. I think that looks much better, right? And here's my other idea, guys. Stay with it. Stay with me. This is why I wish I had a microphone. Alright, where's that other thing? Alright, so you can't get at the gas tank anymore, right? Ah, look what I got. I save everything. What do you think if I mount that there? Even if I use tie wraps, I don't know. What do you guys think about that? It's gonna be close on the hose. I might have to go something like that. What do you guys think? The hole is in the center, so, but I might have to, I'll make some kind of bracket to hold this in, but I think it's kind of small, but who cares, right? Or, my other thought was, coming up with something. My initial thought was, we're kind of long distance. Let me see if you guys can see this. Converting a little fire hydrant, fire extinguisher, you know, them little red units? Converting one of them into a gas tank. It's just a long ways to the front, and I don't know if it'll work. Routing the fuel line probably won't be an issue, but by the time it gets to the front, I'm going to be lower than the carburetor. I don't know if that'll work. Leave a comment in the section down below. Tell me what you think of that idea. Or maybe you got another better idea. The next thing I got to work on, I got to have these. Alright? I don't know. This actually goes underneath. This goes over the top. I'm not explaining that right. Alright. So this goes. Well, it's short now, that's why I'm saying, why ain't this thing fitting now? Because I dropped it down. Anyways, it bolts to there. So, technically, I don't know, maybe I'll put a hole through this and straight through everything. I gotta figure that part out, but do you guys approve of this? I'm running short on sheet metal stuff, and like I said, honest to God, washing machine shit to bed, and I cut the front and the sides off of it. That's what that is. I use seam seal in here. That stuff hardens up like a rock. Bodywork's not perfect, but neither am I. Alright, so what do you guys think so far? While you guys are thinking about that, I'm gonna go get a coffee. It's only number 4 or 5 today. And I'm gonna figure out this here thing. Maybe I'll go to flat stock, I don't know. Alright, I'm going to get a coffee. You guys go get a cold beer, a water, a pop, soda, whatever. I'll meet you back here in a minute. Before I go get my coffee, I'm very disappointed in you guys. You forgot to remind me about the wires. I'm on the wrong side of the steering rod now. So, I either take the steering rod all the way out again, or undo the harness. I don't know. I'm going to get a coffee. You guys go finish getting your beverage. Or whatever. I'll meet you back here, and well, while I do that, I'll think about it. Alright, I know it's getting kind of late, it's getting dark out. I'm going to roll her into the, I won't call it a garage, to the workshop. You guys can see what you made me do today. It took me all day to lower that console. And that's kind of what she looks like. Alright, while you guys were getting a cold one, I made up this firewall. I showed you how I made that earlier. So we got a firewall. I don't think I'm going to do anything over here, unless you guys get an idea. That would definitely put me on a struggle bus. And I think it kind of looks pretty good, wide open like that. Once it's all painted, I know it looks kind of Yankee right now, but once it's painted, it'll look alright. So that brings up the next question. What are we painting this? Red? Actually, speaking of painting, how's that console look? Pretty good, huh? Can hardly tell I even cut it. But, so, I really want to paint, I did not want to paint the console. I only painted the bottom half. I did Bondo, sanded it half-ass, whatever, but you'll never see it down there. I guess I could tape all these decals off and paint the console black. I was thinking about the inside of the wheelbarrow black or red with that rhino liner, bed liner paint or whatever, and the rest of this rig red. What do you guys think of that? I know Rich, you talked about the white walls on the tires. That would probably make it pretty cool. One other thing I want to show you is I don't know how good you can see that, but we they're almost lights. That's what I call them. They're reflectors. But I call them almost lights, but I just threw them on there for the hell of it. So, what do you think so far? Well, with the console, I think it's right here. It was like 2 3/4 of an inch, maybe a little bit less, a little bit more. But I just hope the seat don't come into play. Actually, I'm gonna get on it. You guys tell me what you think. Not too bad, hey? Can you see me? Yeah, that's not too bad, right? Steering works. I don't know how good. But I got a little running list of things. I got a lot of little things to finish up. I gotta go back to. That's one thing. Oh, don't forget to look at. Oh, check that out. Yeah, I got a bunch of little things, and I should be writing it down to finish up. And I'm gonna do that probably tomorrow or the next time I work on it. I think I'm working tomorrow. But either way, we're getting there. Saying all this, I got the compressor with a DA, so that'll be no big deal. I don't know. What else? What else you guys got? Oh, like I forgot. I'm gonna mount the gas tank. Right? Somewhere over here. What do you guys think? Nah, that don't work. I really don't know. I can use this if I have to. I'll leave it up to you guys. Leave it in the comments if you think I should use this gas can, or mount something in the back and run a hose to the front. I'll leave it up to you. I'm leaning towards this, so probably before you guys answer this comment, I'll already have it on there. Maybe, you'll never know. Alright guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one. Alright, here's the original tank. That used to sit down in there. So obviously, you can't use that anymore. My options were this little one that I got off a snowblower project. This black one that I robbed off a lawnmower I have out back. I also have, this is original guard for the muffler. So that could be a support system. But what I'm thinking is, this support that the old tank used to sit in and the clutch rod goes through, I'm going to flip it over and drill a hole in that and flip it over, and I'll show you what I think I come up with. Actually, I do have one more fuel tank on this old blower here. That I'll show you what I'm thinking. This I saved it. This thing runs, I saved it. Someday I'm going to put that gas motor on a bicycle. What do you guys think about that project? Well, it used to run. I'll have to recheck it. But yeah, I always wanted to put a gas motor on a bicycle. But anyways, back to this grandkids ride here. So here's my idea. Alright, so I already drilled the hole for the clutch rod and flipped it over. Alright. Okay. So I got some of this channel iron right here. And I drilled the hole in the center. I'll show you why. I'm going to weld this down on top of here. I'm going to take this little red gas tank. This hole in that is for this. Okay. And I'm going to weld that to that cross beam there, that cross member, whatever you want to call it. Okay. I just got enough clearing for the steering rod. Now, the problem is, this doesn't reach high enough. So what I did do, excuse me, check this out. I don't know where I come up with these ideas, but I cut the neck. Where are you? See this neck? I cut it off the fuel tank for the blower. Right there. And I have this leftover radiator hose from when I was did the V8 swap on rattle can here, my 2003 Chevy S10. If you guys haven't seen that video, go check some of those out. This truck had a 4-cylinder in it. I did a V8 swap. I put an LS 6-liter in it right here in my driveway. Actually, I painted it right here with Rust-Oleum in my driveway too. But you can see those in my playlist. You know, just click on my playlist and you'll see rattle can S10. Anyways, back to this. So the filler tube doesn't reach up. So I got this radiator hose that's left over from rattle can, and don't you know, with a little persuasion, well, hang on. It's a tight fit, but it's gonna work. Trust me. There we go. Alright, so, see that? It fits. So now, once that's set in there, I'm gonna cut the hose, and I'm gonna slide the neck that I cut off the little blower. I do have the gas cap around here. I do have the gas cap. Alright, I found the gas cap. So, I'll be able to do that. I'll have it sticking through the hood a little bit. I know, a little wanky, but you gotta make do. Well, I'm trying not to buy anything. You're gonna make do with what you have, right? I don't know how I come up with that idea, but I think it's gonna work. I'm probably gonna have to drill a hole in there and put some kind of vent. Yeah, so that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna measure out the firewall in the hood section there and pop this thing through. What do you guys think of that idea? It'll work for now, right? Alright, let me get this welded in. We'll set the tank in. I'm gonna use zip ties, big zip ties. That's what it was originally on, and I'm gonna use the same thing after I weld this down in place. The key is I don't have a lot of room because of steering rod, but I think it's gonna work out fine. Guys, keep the comments coming. You leave these comments, it keeps my brain rolling. Keeps me young. Keeps me young. Alright, let me get this all welded in. Alright, so you can see what I did. Over there, I got a hole in the middle for the hose to go through. Let's see if we can get it mounted up. Alright, drill the hole. Keep your fingers crossed. I think that's a win. So, I just gotta cut it to whatever height I want for the filler. Alright, gas tank's in. Like I said, once it's painted, it should blend in okay. I got a few odds and ends to take care of. Hose reaches. So, what do you guys think about that hidden gas tank? I'm gonna have to put a hole in there and some kind of vent, but oh yeah, she's empty. I wish I could have used a fire extinguisher. Would have been nice on the back, and I still may down in the future. But open for suggestion. What do you guys think? Lay it on me. Alright. Believe it or not, I'm gonna get it running, take it for another ride, and then blow this thing apart and paint it. I can't believe you guys are gonna make me take this thing all apart again and paint it. But that's what we're gonna do. And then come up with some headlights. Tail light reflectors are okay, but I prefer to have working ones. I got a plate to make for over here yet, tow hitch. Oh yeah, and a bumper, front bumper. So we got a little bit to do, but I don't know what we're gonna do first. I think I'd rather get this thing. Nah. All right, we'll work on the bumpers next. I am gonna start it off. I want to hear what it sounds like, the header pipe, or if I need to put a muffler on there. I do know when I start this beast up, it catches everybody's attention around here. So they all hate me now. What's a loud lawnmower, right? Alright. Every grandkid should have one. Next up, I guess, bumpers. this concludes part 6 of this project. I hope you really enjoyed watching it. Part 7 will be working the bugs out, reassembly, body and paint with the grandkids, and adding accessories. I appreciate you all watching. We'll see you on the next one.